What's going on, Admirals fans? Chris Zavaglia here for another episode of Admirals Abroad with former Admirals outfielder and pitcher Devon Ramirez. Devon, first and foremost, how are you doing, man? Talk a little bit about what you've been up to and what's been going on with you.
Um, what am I up to right now? It's almost midnight here in Germany, but I'm happy to get on here. Happy to share kind of this journey I've been living the last 7, 8 years now. What's new? So COVID season, we played last year. I got I got into Europe, did a 14-day quarantine, played, and only got to experience German baseball for 14 games after playing in other places in Europe. This is my first time in Germany. So this year I'm pretty geared up, pretty excited about getting a full season. They said that we're going to start on time. We'll get more into that, I'm sure, a little bit later. But right now, player coach role, getting my pitchers ready, getting myself ready, and we're looking pretty good this year and trying to win a championship, man. Trying to say that I've won championships in multiple countries now.
You mentioned player coach role. What do you
Mm-hmm.
what do you think? What do you say the toughest part in adapting to that player coach role has been?
Um, I'm happy because this isn't my first rodeo with it, so that's a bonus, man. Because I think this being a player coach is one of the hardest things and one of the most unique things in baseball. Um, Teetering, time management, relationships with players, relationships with your coaching staff. It's tough, man, and it's grueling, dude. Luckily, I was able for my first time really experiencing it in Australia, and then coming back home in the Pacific Association and being a player coach with Napa taught me a lot, and it's interesting. To go into more detail, I would say it's interesting because you have to show up to the field earlier than anybody else. Because if you don't, I mean, obviously it's about setting a good example. And if you don't show up early, you're going to lose out on time to get yourself ready. You're also going to set a bad example for the guys. I tell people that do this player coach role, whether it's overseas or in America, you got to lead by example, man. And it's not just talking the talk, but it's walking the walk. You can't just expect guys to respect you, expect guys to follow your lead if you're not putting in the work yourself. So one thing that I pride myself in is the fact that I get to the field early. I do my own hitting. I do my own lifting. And then I work with my pitchers. And then after I'm done working with my pitchers, I do some more work just to make sure that the reps that I'm missing out on because I'm spending time with my pitchers to get my pitchers ready, I'm making sure I double my reps to just make sure that I'm game ready. Another unique aspect to the player coach role is how can you expect a guy to listen to you if you're hitting a buck 50 or you jump on the mound and you're getting lit up? You know what I mean? Like that's another unique part to it. A lot of people, that's pressure, man. That's pressure packed because it's not just performing so that you don't get released or you don't get sent home, but it's also performing so that the 15 guys in your bullpen or in your pitching staff want to listen to you. You know what I mean? And want to hear what you have to say. It's inevitable, man. It's part of sport. You don't go ask the guy how to hit that's hitting a buck 50. You ask the guy that's hitting 300 how to hit. You don't ask the guy how to throw a fastball that throws 78. You ask the guy who's throwing a fastball at 90 or has a good breaking ball. It's just that's the belly of the beast. So lead by example. Make sure that your game speaks for itself. Make sure that your work ethic speaks for itself. And I think one of the unique aspects as well is for lack of a better term, kind of the psychology of how to manage being a part of the coaching staff, but also a part of the players. There's moments where I have to put my foot down and say, you know what, like we're going to go on a 15-minute run. Like that's just part of it. And we're going to run. I run with my guys just because it's part of leading with the example. You know what I mean? And then there's times where after a game, you're as you're enjoying a victory and you're having a beer with your teammates. It's how do you teeter that fine line of not going too much into the player role and losing the respect, but not going much into the coaching role and making them like running your power. You know what I mean?
So talk a little bit more. You played in different countries and continents, Germany, Australia, the Czech Republic, Team Philippines for the World Baseball Classic. Talk a little bit about the similarities and the differences between all of those different continents and countries.
Okay. uh, from my experience so far, okay. How do I put this without her? I'm I'm gonna put it in the way that I think from my own experiences, because I not everybody's gonna agree with me, but I mean, not everybody has to agree with me. So I would say America always. We come from a place where baseball is king, man. Baseball is when you're a little kid playing and you dream of playing in the major leagues, man. Like we get to a point where it starts to feel like a job. Playing indie ball and college and trying to get that college scholarship and then trying to play professional baseball, it becomes more of a job. Where I would say overseas, you kind of find, for me personally, that the reasons why I started playing baseball. The reason why I started playing baseball was because I loved it. I loved being out on the field. I liked hanging out with my friends. I really didn't care too much about the wins and losses. I more cared about running and asking my mom if three of my buddies could come over after the game. You know what I mean? Like I, I was I was playing because I loved it. And I think in America, at some point, you start to, it gets cutthroat. You know, what I mean, it is what it is. It's part of it. You know, you're playing for a paycheck. You got to make sure that your numbers match up with the fact that you want to get paid. Whereas overseas, eh, they being a good person and giving back to the club goes a long way as well. Some major differences field wise, playing wise. Australia, they're only allowed two imports at a time. Imports are anybody that doesn't have a New Zealand or Australian passport.
Okay.
So you can only have two imports on the field at one time. Your import pitcher can only pitch every other game. So that's one rule. Czech Republic, where I played, you can have three imports on the field at any given time. There is no pitching restrictions for your import. A team can bring in three pitching imports and have them pitch the whole time. There's no
Wow.
restrictions on what you do with the imports. You import in Czech Republic is anybody that doesn't have an EU passport, so American, whatever. Here in Germany, we're allowed two imports on the field at any time, and the import pitcher can only pitch the second game of the series. So I'm considered the position player import, so I can play every game. I recently, as the pitching coach and with our head coach, who's a phenomenal guy, we signed a guy named Caleb Bowman. So there's unique rules when it comes to import players that I'm sure a lot of people don't know about. Realize that there is good baseball everywhere in the world. I mean, I've helped guys that only play college ball go to places such as Austria that aren't as strong as Germany, but offer you the ability to get paid, your flights paid, your accommodation paid for, your food paid for, and you get to live in Europe and go see something that you've never seen before. And then there's leagues like Germany, where last year in the semifinals, we faced a guy from the Netherlands who was a third round draft pick. We faced another guy from the Netherlands who was on the Netherlands national team, played with Kenley Jansen and Didi Gregorius, and their import pitcher was a first rounder. So
That's
the competition is, you can find different competition all throughout Europe, man. So
So you got the shirt on right now. World Baseball Traveler. I want to talk about that, dive into that, talk about what it is, what's been going on with that, talk about some of your plans with that and hope to create with it.
okay. Um, so first, I need to give a shout out to Tillman Pugh. Definitely got to give a shout out to Tillman, one of my good friends. He kind of started this whole journey that I've been on. He hooked me up after he played in Australia, hooked me up with a contact over there that led to another contact and another contact and got me overseas. And now I've just been running with it for the last 7 years. And the whole World Baseball Traveler idea came about during COVID, really. when you have when we were on lockdown and you had a lot of time to reflect and kind of figure out, what's going to occupy my time while I'm sitting at the house all day long. So I came up with the cool idea of World Baseball Traveler, and basically the number one goal behind it was I wanted to kind of share um, the things that I've learned by going overseas. I think a lot of us in America, we get kind of trapped into a bubble and think that if you don't make it to the major leagues, then you're a failure. If you didn't get paid to play baseball, then you didn't accomplish anything in the game. And that's a fallacy. It's false, man. The whole World Baseball Traveler idea is to just share the love, share the knowledge, share the information that I've got firsthand over the last 7-8 years with the next generation of ball players, man. And I've been lucky enough that this whole World Baseball Traveler thing has kept evolving, and it's always been around positivity. And I've made a lot of really cool connections with coaches overseas and bat company, glove companies. Been able to use my connections to help out the next generation of ball players. And if you checked out my page, I've signed 30 guys now, 30 plus guys overseas. All found them good places for them. I think that's a big thing as well, is finding a place where they'll enjoy baseball, they'll be appreciated, and it's helping the right guy as well. That's a big thing for me as well. I don't just help anybody. I help the right baseball player, the baseball player that may have gotten overlooked. He works hard, he gives back, and he helps out with the kids, and he has a good personality, and he's a good-hearted person, and help him extend his baseball career. And that's kind of been a goal of mine. And I've been lucky enough to help a bunch of guys. Peter Reyes, who played for you, Tim Holmes, that played for Vallejo, Gillespie, who played in the Pacific Association. I've helped a bunch of guys get overseas and go travel the world because they love playing baseball and they're good people.
And this is something that you'll be able to keep going even when past playing, correct?
That's the plan. That's the plan. So I get asked all the time, like, what do you want World Baseball Traveler to become? And there is no clear-cut answer, man, because from day one, it started off as just let me share my passion, and now it's evolved into getting people signed. And I don't know what's next, but I know one thing is when I'm done playing baseball, and hopefully through this page, I leave a legacy of this guy helped a lot of guys continue to play baseball. This guy helped share the love of the game. That's, my goal. And after I'm done playing, that's what I want to be remembered for. I tell my guys that I play with overseas, I won't remember home runs that I hit. I won't remember the games. I won't remember that stuff. I'll remember swimming with whale sharks. I remember me and Peter Reyes hanging out 24/7 in Australia because I signed him to go to Australia. I remember those moments. I remember the bus rides with my teammates. I remember the becoming a certified diver in Bali. I remember the moments like that, all because of getting outside my bubble and traveling the world.
So one last question before I let you go, Devon. We'll bring it all the way back to 2014 when you were an Admiral. Talk a little bit about that. What sticks out to you the most in your time as an Admiral?
If I had to pick, I'll try to keep it to 3 things because there's a lot, man. One would be the team. Michael Serta, Joe Lewis, Brandon Williams, PJ, playing with guys like that on that team and getting so close to winning a championship, and then going through the dog days with those guys and building a brotherhood. Like, I still talk to B-Dub every day. I talk to Tillman every day. I talk to Mike Serta every single day. Though that's number one for me, those brotherhoods that I made. Number 2 would be playing in a unique place like Vallejo. I think Vallejo has a lot to offer. I think when you go play in Vallejo and you see what Vallejo has to offer, I think you appreciate baseball. You appreciate playing with Vallejo across your chest because they come out and support you, man. I haven't experienced a place like that before. or overseas or anything, man. It reminded me of kind of being back home in Inglewood, to be honest. And then number 3 would probably be, this is a tough one because I got like 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. But if I had to say number 3, I would say playing with guys that taught me a lot. You know, I'd be the first person to say that I was a young knucklehead playing professional baseball with guys that had a little bit more savvy than me. And it was an honor to be able to play with those guys and learn from those guys, man, because I think that they helped me grow as a baseball player. They helped me appreciate the game more. They helped me in my process towards now being at this point in my life, you know, and those are some things that I really appreciate about playing in Vallejo.
Well, Devon, that's all I got for you for this one. I appreciate you sitting down with me, taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you got the season coming up. When do you guys exactly start, too?
Yep. Okay, I don't want to hold you on too long, but we start April 3rd, man. Little insight to German baseball, North, South division. Each division has 8 teams. Because of COVID, just like everywhere else in the world, we have to deal with it. The North, luckily, our numbers are down enough to be able to start on April 3rd. The South will start later. So I'm excited because we're 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks away from opening day. We play a full season this year, so I'm pretty juiced about it.
That's awesome. And then for you guys, are you guys able to stream the games live? Are fans able to do that?
Yeah, definitely. If people want to follow me at World Baseball Traveler on Instagram, follow me there. There's Legionnaire TV on YouTube. They do a legit live stream. 4 cameras, announcers, everything, the whole 9 yards, man. It's almost like watching an MLB game, man. I'm very impressed with the way they do their social media and their live stream. So if anybody wants to tune in and check out overseas baseball, follow me at World Baseball Traveler. I'm posting pictures about where I'm from or where I've seen or what I've done, and also the baseball stuff. And then I'll be throwing the links to the live stream on my stories.
Perfect. Yeah, fans, go check him out. Devon's a hot commodity out there in Europe right now doing. So excited for you, man. Appreciate you again sitting down with me, able to get the chance to take time again, talk with us and talk with the fans too. You know, I'm sure fans are going to love this as well. Keep up the good work. Want to wish you the best on this next upcoming season. That. And that'll do it here for this episode of Admirals Abroad. Be sure to follow all Admirals social media, live updates, and latest news on VallejoAdmirals.com as well. Devon Ramirez, Chris Zavaglia, we say so long and see you guys next time.